Welcome in. This is Hype Factor, a Fantasy Critic podcast for all the Fantasy Critic enthusiasts out there who just can't get enough talking about Fantasy Critic. I'm one of your co-hosts, John32, and as always, I am joined by my good friend Marcus. How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing okay. A little exhausted. I was on a solo parenting weekend, John. The first time that we've ever done this. Our son Miles is 5, so it's we've always been able to tag team the situation, and this was the first time I was all on my own. We survived, but I am a little tired, still recovering from the excitement.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I don't know why it's like that time of year. August, for some reason, feels it's supposed to be summer and relaxing, and
I
it's
know
just never
it.
is what you want it to be.
It has not
Um,
been that
Yeah, I feel you. I've been playing a lot of games though,
good.
myself, which is good.
Yes,
I've been finding
yes.
the time, which is great. Like I always feel like, where am I going to find the time? But knocking out some good ones. I feel
So which
pretty.
ones? Tell me the highlights right now. The listeners
Oh
want to know
God,
too.
since the last time we recorded,
Yeah.
I feel like I've gone through Schrodinger's Call. So that
Oh
is a
yes.
fantasy critic darling for the year, and I went through it, and it was did not disappoint. For those that like kind
Very
of
good.
a more visual novel narrative, would recommend for those that are into that kind of thing. Splatoon Raiders, which we're going to talk about tonight, went through
Hmm.
that. Love that.
Okay.
I have some thoughts on its review scores and why they're not good enough. And yeah, just like I don't know, there's a couple other things. Halo, Campaign Evolved. That game, it feels like that game was like tailor made for me. It's like, hey, have you not
Okay.
played it in 25 years? Here's like your memory filling in the blanks, making it look gorgeous and re-experiencing that magic from the first time. So yeah, most people are like, I've done this already, and I was like, no, this is great. So
Mm.
yeah, I'll take it. It's good,
Yeah. Very
good
good.
little good little run of games. So anything you want to start with before we jump into episode 24?
I don't think so. I'm excited to get into it. I think we've got a good topic here for our listeners tonight.
Yeah, this is episode 24. Do you hold or do you drop? We're gambling tonight, Marcus. We're gambling. So
Yeah.
let's get into it.
Topic of the month.
Okay, so as most people that have been following along this season, it's been like a bit of a roller coaster ride. Obviously the big GTA looming game has changed a lot of dates, and a lot of games kind of moving around in terms of the latter half of the year. But we still have a slew of games that are big titles, in our opinion, big fantasy critic relevant titles that have had little updates, no release dates. We haven't heard about them in a while, and I think a lot of people are just, what do we do with these games, Marcus? Do we hold or do we fold?
Yes, there's a lot of these. As we were coming up with the list here today, I'm sure you did the same, but I was like scanning through all the leagues that I'm in, and like which are these games that I'm like I don't really know what to do with. I Some of these games I have on my roster, so our discussion today might actually influence me a little bit onto how I handle things. But yeah, these are a lot of games that we just we'd probably everybody who has these games on their rosters had hoped for a release date by now, whether it was
Right now, yeah.
all ready to come out or at least expected to come out with a date for later this year. And we don't have any of that for any of these games that we're going to be talking about. So, what to do with them?
Yeah, and I said we're gambling. We're in the shadow of Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show, which is upcoming in the weeks ahead. So we are really kind of in this like, this moment where we want to talk about, you know, what people should do with these games. Do you hold on to them and hope for the best, or is it time to move on and try and replace those points before the big announcements come, before these games get bumped into the next year, or before they get counterpicked for that matter, as people like get more and more brave about what may or may not be coming and what people are hearing. So yeah, we're going to approach each one. We have a bit of a list here. We have a number to go through. Hopefully, we capture that which might be of interest to our listeners. We are going to categorize these, talk about them. If we both believe you should hold, we will let you know that's probably the move. If we both agree on a drop, then we will also tell you that's the move. And I'm mostly interested in the ones where we're not aligned,
Mhm.
where it's like truly a bit of a toss up based on different things, different perspectives, different things we're hearing. So I'm excited to talk about this one. This is really like in the weeds of the back half of the year. So yeah,
Yeah, I would agree, and I think like I do think that we should maybe at least start this conversation by throwing out a few caveats maybe out here in terms of
yeah,
like how we're approaching
good
this thing,
idea.
right? Like
Yeah,
because obviously every league is a little bit different. Every league has their own rules. Like I think most of the leagues that John and I play in, maybe aside from Super League, we have, some flexibility in terms of being able to drop uh fairly freely. I know I shouldn't speak for you necessarily, John, but like the leagues that I'm in, like outside of Super League, I could drop as many games as I want for whatever reason, right? That's not necessarily the case, and that's certainly not the standard rule in Fantasy Critics. So that's something to keep in mind. Like, you know, whether how many drops you may have um, for games that have not been confirmed to be delayed, right? Like
yeah,
that's something that we need to do. Something that we'll probably get into in a little bit towards the end of the conversation is like what's available. Like, yes, it's fine for us to kind of like say you should drop this game. But if there's literally nothing good out there, well, maybe you might want to hold on it for a little bit longer, and kind of like maybe disregard our advice. Um, and then I think the other things that you want to consider when you're thinking about whether or not you should hold or drop a game is like what your team situation is. Like
hmm,
where you are in the standings, like how much of a risk you feel like you need to take. Like some of these games that we're going to talk about have some pretty high ceilings that we believe they have some pretty high ceilings, right? And so like if you're farther behind, maybe it's worth holding on to because you need those big points because anything that's available on the waiver wire, you may not think that is all that great. So that's something to consider how much budget you might have to be able to replace these other games with. Um Frankly, even like I was thinking about like the idea that like some people's rosters, you may not have a lot of games that have scores at this point. And it's like
yeah,
if I'm in that situation, which I don't think I really am this year, but like there are if I was in a league where I had, I say, a total of 10 games and only 3 of them had scores, and I had a couple of these games, I may be more inclined to want to drop them because I'm trying to get something that just get me some scores here, right? So all of these
hmm,
are like contextual factors that, take our opinions about the hold or drop kind of nature of each of these games with a bit of a grain of salt because you have to kind of like also assess um your own particular situation based on at least
yeah.
there's probably other things that I'm even forgetting here too, but like all at least all those
I am
factors that I
sure that
mentioned.
yeah, I'm sure you could drop a game and pick up some random DLC and just score an
Yeah.
86 and be happy with it, you know? Like, I'm
Yeah,
sure
exactly.
that's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
reality for most people out there this year. I don't know what the hell's
Yeah.
going on, but no, I appreciate those caveats because I think they're important, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
like, we're telling you to drop. We're talking about very specific circumstances, but
Yeah.
you
Yeah, like,
do,
I guess we're
people got to
probably
take that
kind of
risk.
talking about the circumstance where you probably have a lot of free drops. You probably there might be some alternatives out there that might be worth picking up, and you know, like I think at those ones at least at the bare minimum, right?
Yeah. Well, we're going to start with one that fits into this category perfectly for
Yes.
me,
Yeah.
which is Kenna, the next Kenna game, which we saw earlier in the year. I have this in my Carpool Gaming Fantasy
Mm,
Critic League, and it's just sitting there. I have free movement to drop and replace it with stuff. There's a couple things on my watch list that I could replace it with. I'm just waiting,
yeah.
So let's talk about Kenna.
Yeah.
It showed earlier this year. It looked pretty great. It's a follow up. The first one I think scored in the low to mid 80s. I think it was like 83 during
Yeah.
the first one.
That sounds right.
Um, and I think there's an expectation that it'll probably hit around the same. But since seeing it for the first time, there's been radio silence.
Nothing. Right.
Um, what are your thoughts on Kenna before we jump into it?
I think this is actually on the easier side, John. Like this
Okay,
one,
what
this
are
is
you thinking?
I'm thinking drop. I think that this is a drop. I think
Wow.
that this is
Okay,
very
we're gonna
unlikely
start
to
off.
come out this year. Yeah, I do think it's
Okay.
very unlikely to come out this year. It
Okay.
I did take a look at the first Kana game, and I've done this for a handful here, and the first game announced its release date roughly 6 months before it came out. That's not like a guarantee, that they're going to do the same sort of like announcement, and then actual release of the game for this one. But I think it's a it's something, and
It's something. Yep.
I feel like given how busy this fall is with other big IP, I think that this they would risk if they tried to squeeze it in, it getting lost, and I don't think that this game can afford to get lost in the sea of everything. And the fact that we haven't heard yet,
Yeah.
I I would put the odds this, obviously we're all just speculating here, but like I would put the odds at this one coming out this year pretty low. That's where I'm at.
Oh, you're killing me, Marcus.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is actually one of the only ones where I think I'm truly 50-50, and maybe because I'm personally affected by it, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It is so the reason I'm going to say hold, and we'll be
Okay.
split on this first one, um, is just because I think there's a very high probability we're going to get another PlayStation State of Play,
Mhm.
um, and I'm not looking to make a decision. I spent a lot of budget on this one with high expectation, or not a lot, but a significant chunk
Yep.
of budget here. Um, that might be another caveat. Sunk cost fallacy. Don't do what I'm doing right there, right? Which is like I spent a lot of
Yeah.
money on this thing, and I gotta hold on to it as we go down with the ship. It's like that should not be part of your calculation. But um, I think more importantly for me is the fact that there's a high probability of a September state of play. uh, I expect that something will be said with regard to a release date for this game at that point in time. And if there is not at that
Mm,
point in time, so come the end of September, I will be moving on from this game.
right.
So, I mean, I would say hold for now. I still think we treat this as split because if we're talking about right now at the end of August, like how people should be approaching these games, I think this one's going to be a split,
Mhm.
which is
Okay.
interesting. Interesting way to
Yep.
start. You scare me. You scare me, Marcus, on this one. I don't know what to do. I
Yeah, no,
think I
I
think the
don't have
part
a
that
lot of faith that this game I think it
yeah,
will score well when it comes. I don't have a lot of faith
yeah.
that's coming this year.
It's a really crowded fall. That's the other
Yeah.
thing to take into consideration. You mentioned it, like for all these games, it's like the fall is already really crowded. So unless something has a bit of a niche or a bit of a window, it's like I actually that's the thing that's scaring me the most from what you said. Is like I don't know where this lands to make it palatable for
Yep.
fall. Like I just don't know. Like is it going to
Like,
compete with
because even if it feel
September,
like they
October,
feel that
like
they're ready, like the
December?
game's ready, like, is this the best time? They may just hold it just because
Yeah,
it's, they don't feel like they'll get the eyeballs on it and enough people
yeah.
playing it, you know? So,
I don't know. Yeah. There are some gaps in like the early November, the pre-GTA that people have been
mhm,
identifying. They're pretty empty. And I don't know how much crossover there is between the GTA player and the Kenna player. So potentially, but I gotta think there might be some crossover with an Ocarina player. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't now I'm a little bit more nervous than I was
I
before, but I'm
think
still holding.
the
I'm
first
holding.
game released late September. And so,
Yeah.
again, these things, don't that doesn't mean that the sequel has to release in that same sort of window, but they probably liked that window the first time, for
Oh yeah.
I don't know. So they're not going to be hitting September, 20 something this time, I don't think.
No.
I think that'd be crazy to release that around that
Was it
time.
Shadow Drop?
Man, that would be bold. That would be a
It
strategy.
would
We'll
be
see.
bold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I don't know. All right. Next on our list, The Eternal Life of Goldman. I would
mhm,
say this had so much hype from the draft,
yeah.
never mind the waiver wire. Uh, one of these games that just looked and has continued to show really well. We've seen it a couple times, but still no release date.
Mhm.
I so we're. Do you want me to go first on this one?
Well, you went first on the last one, or no, I did. I went first,
Okay,
didn't I?
you
Yeah,
went
you
first
go.
on the last one. Yeah,
Yeah, you go.
yeah.
You go.
I still think, given how much we've seen of this game, I think it falls into a similar kind of category to me. Like I think it's done or close to being done. I think it could release this year, but I think it's also like potentially being scared off by some of these other things. Having said that, I think it's different enough from what else is out there that it probably stands on its own 2 feet. Um, I'm actually going to say hold. I think you wait on this until Gamescom. I think you wait to see what the next month brings. And truthfully, if I haven't heard anything but through the next like round of announcements, I move on from it. But similar to Kenna, I'm holding for now.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree on this one, John. I think like um around 2 weeks ago, they released a new trailer for this game, and
Yeah,
it didn't have a date with it, right? But it was
yeah,
a new trailer, so they're trying to keep this in people's minds, and I feel like that's probably a good sign, or at least a check in the column that it's still coming relatively soon. They don't want people to forget about it with these again, this busy period that we're about to enter here. So yeah, I don't think now is the time to drop Eternal Life of Goldman. I think I would hold this one.
nice. We're aligned.
Hmm.
Okay, next up, Duskbloods. Marcus, they're entering
Yeah.
the network test this weekend.
Is it
Where
this
are you on
weekend? I thought it
Duskbloods?
had already happened. So
No, I
it's
think it
this
starts the
coming week.
23rd. I think you can
Oh, okay.
download the game or something now, but I think it's
Okay.
still a couple days.
I
I think
was
it's
wondering why
Saturday.
I hadn't heard
Yeah,
anything about anybody
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about it.
They registered
So
everybody. I haven't heard of one person that didn't get into
oh
the
really?
network test.
Yeah.
I didn't apply because I knew I was going to be busy, but I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I should have. Like, they didn't
Yeah.
turn anybody away,
Okay.
you know?
This one, like Kana, John, this one affects me. I've been staring
Wow.
at the Duskbloods on one of my rosters for months at this point. I'm like, we don't have a date. They had kept telling us it's supposed to be this year. I don't feel great about this game. I'm worried about its performance on Switch. I'm worried about lots of
Oh,
stuff about this game, right? And
hmm.
um, I've held on to it to this point because there's not a heck of a lot on the waiver wire for me. And I'm sitting pretty good. Like I've still got this team that I have is pretty stacked. I think I have Trails from the Sky still. I've got
Wow.
Gears of War E Day. I've got Duskbloods. I've got the Rayman Legends
Hmm.
retold. So I've got a couple, like a few other heavy hitters that I feel like I can wait for a little
Yeah.
bit to make a decision there, especially because there's not a lot out there. But I don't feel good about it. So I think I'm going to say hold, but I'm not. I don't feel good about it. I really
Bad hold.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I think we are actually aligned on this. I have this in Super League,
yeah,
so that's not great.
yeah,
Um, it to me, the network test will be the
yeah.
difference maker, but this is not the time to drop it.
Right.
I still believe this is their like December slot game,
Mm,
and I think this weekend's going to determine whether or not it lands there or not.
yeah,
I haven't heard too many people saying this, but I am kind of in the camp that believes that their like other Metroid 2D Metroid game is like the replacement December game if this thing misses. Um, which hey, if you're looking for a natural replacement at some point soon, that might be on the docket. But um, I'm still holding here. I think that there's just too much pedigree. Switch 2 is having a good year. The other part of this is that Elden Ring, the Tarnished Edition, is about to drop on Switch 2, and it was horrible at when they were first kind of launching the Switch. I remember seeing I went and saw a preview event, and I saw people playing, and it was pretty bad even in person.
yeah,
But then they held on releasing Elden Ring. They put some more work into it. I think also seeing how Elden Ring runs might be an indication of what's to come here. Um, Probably this was built specific for this engine, so that hopefully will be a better indicator. And truthfully, things like funny enough, Splatoon Raiders. Let's talk about Splatoon Raiders for a second. I can't talk enough about this game. It is, with cutscenes aside, well, you are in a multiplayer arena co-op, right? And you've got um, a million things happening on the screen at once. It is pure chaos. And the Switch 2, at least from my eye and from what I've heard from others in terms of their experience with the game, it's holding its own in those kind of like chaotic multiplayer, around the world kind of co-op modes. So I don't know if that says anything outside of the fact that the Switch 2 can do it, whether they've achieved it here. I think we'll probably know in the next couple days. So
Yeah.
again, it's a hold for me. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Similar scary or spooky vibes. The next game up on our list is Bloodstained: The Scarlet Engagement. I will go first on this one. I am a drop on this.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on with this game. But all I know is that I was not drafting it when it was 20 January of this year. So I'm going to stick with that and just say we're now in August and still haven't heard anything. And I didn't agree with drafting it then. And I don't know. I'm just going with my gut here and saying drop it.
Yeah.
Unless you can convince me, Marcus, if you've heard anything
No,
that
I'm
would
not going to
convince me
convince you. I
otherwise.
think this is another easier one that we're going to be discussing tonight. It feels like a drop for me. Unless I've missed some tidbits of information here or there, which I've did a quick search for all of these games before we hopped on the call here, and I didn't find anything, and so I would have no confidence. This Bloodstained is kind of like a Castlevania ish style game, right?
Hmm.
And we've got this new fantastic looking Castlevania game due out in early October, right? So
Hmm.
I don't think releasing any time around that, you know, that game would be do this game any favors. So I feel like even if it was ready, it's probably good to create some distance between it and the Castlevania game. So yeah, I don't think it's coming this year. I think you're probably safe to drop this one.
Nice. Okay, let's get into the maybe harder games on this list, starting with At Fate's End. So everybody will recall that we were both pretty high on this earlier in the year. Same developer as Spiritfarer. Great looking, great looking Metroidvania. Lots of potential. Uh, Not heard a release date.
Yeah.
And so this one affects me personally, Marcus. So you go first, but you be gentle. What
Well, well, this
what are
one
we doing
affects me
here?
personally too because despite me being relatively high on it earlier in the year, at the earliest part of the year, I was not high on it because I counterpicked it in Super League,
Okay.
right? And so,
Hmm.
um,
And now was that
I
because you didn't believe it was coming out, or because you didn't think they could
both
pull it off? Okay.
both. From the trailer, I didn't think the trailer looked all that great, and I thought there was a chance it wouldn't come out. So as the year has progressed here, I've started to feel better and better about that counter pick because we haven't really heard all that much recently. I think there was some sort of a event, maybe it was GDC, where people had played the game. We had heard like creators uh, had played the game and were talking incredibly positively about the game. So that got me very worried. And then it's basically gone dark. And I think um, the developer is Thunder Lotus, and so they also are working. In addition to having done Spiritfarer, they've also been doing 33 Immortals, which is that multiplayer game. And they featured, was it at the Xbox showcase at Summer Games Fest?
Mm.
It was something around Summer Games Fest time. It was like, oh, a Thunder Lotus trailer, or the splash screen for their announcement. And I was like, oh, here we go, at Fate's End. And no, it was another 33 Immortals something. And so it's been a bit of a roller coaster with me and this game this year. So I was, up until like literally earlier today, I was feeling pretty good that this game is unlikely to come out this year. And then I went and I took a look at when Thunder Lotus announced Spiritfarer and relative to when it came out, and they shadow dropped it. So
Mm.
like they at least have a history of releasing a game um very right on the same day that they announce its date. So that kind of like took me down the roller coaster a little bit more. So um I think this is probably a hold. Like if you've invested this much, this game has a high ceiling.
Yeah,
Spiritfarer scored
I was
very
gonna.
well. people have talked very well that have played this game. Um, if they have a history of announcing a date very close to or on the same day of the actual release, I think that's good. So if you've held on to it this long, I think you continue to hold on to it.
Yeah, I think I'm aligned with you, particularly because of the ceiling
Mm,
and the range, I guess, generally for this game. I don't think we're going to talk about later on, like, some options out there and how people might be wanting to consider, like, to replace things. But this is one where I think it's actually going to be very hard to replace those points if it were to come out. And not only that, but you also have to think that your competitor might be getting that game. So it's not just it goes out there and it
that's
goes
true.
out to die.
Yep.
It's if you're in a competitive situation, you could potentially be putting that out into the marketplace, let's put it that way, for others to pick up. So this is one I am nervous to do that with, because I think it could come back to bite you. Um, some of these others may be more manageable. This one, I think, could come back to bite you. So I would say hold. I agree
Yep.
with you on that. Next up, Blighted, Drinkbox Studio game. We've talked a lot about this one as well, given the pedigree of the studio. Um, this one I'm actually more torn on because I think we've talked about in the past how they have a history of releasing games kind of within the year that they've kind of shown it.
Hmm.
Uh, so unlike at Fate's End, I don't know if the ceiling and range is as secure here. Oh, this one I'm actually very torn.
Well, when did we last see this? It was a Switch.
I think so.
And did they just say 2020 coming this year, or
There's a
did they give a
fall,
fall window?
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a fall window,
Yeah.
and that's what's kind of holding me back from saying drop. Is because they kind of had targeted that and they generally hit their targets. But I believe that it had some previous timing issues. Oh, I'm very torn on this. I'm gonna go with hold for now, applying maybe the same logic that I would apply to Kenna, which
Mm,
is I would want to hear in the next, like, we're probably entering like showcase season, right? We're gonna get Gamescom, we're gonna get Tokyo Game Show, probably gonna get a state of play, and presumably maybe another direct, although that could be Zelda specific, who knows. Um, and I if I don't hear from it soon, I would say within the next 4 weeks, I might be inclined to drop this game.
mm,
Only because I feel like a more secure release date game, I feel like I can make back most of the points here potentially by
right.
going in a different direction, right? That's where
Right.
the range comes in.
I do think, yeah, I would agree that this probably doesn't have as high a ceiling as At Fate's End. Um,
But it's gonna be solid. Like, it looks solid.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very personally excited. Like,
Yeah.
Drinkbox is like my favorite indie dev. So,
Yeah.
um, I think it's also a hold. I'm gonna go back as well to their most recent game. They announced the date for Nobody Saves the World about 2 weeks before it actually came out. So again, they have a bit of a history, at least, of their most recent game of not they're not being like a big lead up to between when they announce when it's coming out and when it actually comes out. So I think that we've still got time. They've given a fall window, which is better than just a nebulous 2026 already. Uh, I You said 4 weeks. If you hadn't heard anything in 4 weeks, what that puts us into late September. If you
Basically
haven't
the
heard
end of
anything,
late September. Yeah.
yeah, I would probably hold even a little bit longer than that. Maybe if
Okay.
I hadn't
Just
heard
give it a
something by
give
mid
it a
October or something like that,
yeah.
and we still hadn't had any updates, maybe then at that point I would drop it. But yeah, at this point, late August, I mid to late August, I would definitely I would hold on this one.
Yeah, it's just one of these things where the pickings are gonna get slim real fast. So
The
you know,
pickings may already be very slim, John.
it's a little
So
slim right now. I
yeah,
mean, there could be some stuff shown in the next month that,
yeah,
it's a surprise, that people can actually go after, and that'll weigh on people's decisions here as
of
well.
course,
But
yeah.
yeah, okay, maybe in a similar box, but maybe with a different outcome. Grave Seasons. It's another one, kind of cozy sim with a horror twist. I think it also got pushed out of August into just a general fall timeline. I think it was supposed to have released now, and it
Is
hasn't.
it is it fall or is it October? I have a feel. I don't know if I've just uh grave seasons. If I've just manifested October, I have October in my head. I must have October in my head because Google AI is telling me that it just says fall. So,
Yeah,
um,
or Q3 in some cases. Like I don't know. It just depends on where you're reading.
okay. Um, yeah, for some reason I had like October locked in for me on this one, and this one affects me too. I have
Yeah,
it
you have this.
in Super League. Do I have it anywhere else? I don't think I do anymore. I may have dropped it in one league already that when it got bumped. People are really high on this game. I'm
They
probably
are
holding
high on
it.
this.
I'm gonna
You're
hold it.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not dropping it yet. I'm certainly not dropping it in Super League because there's nothing
Yeah,
on
you can't.
there's
Yeah,
nothing there.
yeah. There's not that much out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am gonna say drop,
Yeah.
surprisingly enough. I've never
Okay.
been as high as everybody else is on this. I think it's gonna do okay. Like, I'm not crapping on the game. It's just I feel like it's a little bit unproven.
Hmm.
Like people are like
I
excited
think
for it
that's
because of
fair.
what it represents. Um, I don't know what the range of this game is, truthfully. Like, I think people are hoping for like mid 80s or, but I don't know what that is. And the unknown is what's driving me to be like the unknown plus the lack of release date and the initial push into a more busy period. Um, you know, October would make sense. It's a bit of a spooky game. I think everybody's trying to target that time of the year. If it misses October, then I don't even. Yeah, then I don't know. But I'm just at the point. I think we're split on this because I'm at the point of moving on from Grave Seasons. Um, Witchbrook is up next. Remind me what this game is. This is the one where I didn't have very much insight here.
S- So I think it's got a multiplayer component, but I don't know if it has to. You have to play multiplayer, but it's like a Stardew Valley, but like you're a witch
Right.
and like you're at like some sort of Hogwarts like school. Um,
Yes, another. Okay, and it's Chucklefish is the okay. That's why Chucklefish as a developer, I think, gave it a lot of boost.
yeah,
Um, hmm,
yeah. People have been pretty high
but
on
still
this.
no date. But still
No
no date.
date. Yes, and I think like
Hmm.
this feels like a very ambitious game.
Game.
Um, And that worries me a little bit because it's one of those it feels like it may be a game that the developers just kind of like want to keep adding to. Like we've still got to it's never quite finished and maybe like I don't know. The fact that we just haven't heard all that much, I'm leaning towards a drop on this one. I know I have seen that this has been counter picked in several of the Super League divisions. So I also put a little bit of stock in that because these folks who are playing in Super League tend to know as much as anybody about this stuff. And I feel like if there are multiple people comfortable counter picking, I feel like maybe they've caught some information that's missed me a little bit. But I feel like we probably would have heard a little bit more about when this is coming. Yeah, I wouldn't feel
Yeah,
all that great about holding on to this one. I guess that I think that
I
would be where I'm at, is I
yeah.
wouldn't feel great
As I've
about holding
been
on to it.
yeah, I've been trying to review why it's kind of gone through this. I realized this is the game that I think initially they had pointed at like the end of 2025 to release, but then they had with some additional developer um, issues that have pushed it obviously to this point, still with no release date. You know, with some ambiguity around if it's going to actually land or not. So it's one of those games where you just don't know. To your point, very ambitious. I am aligned with you here. I'm going to say drop. I think it's
Mhm.
probably again one of these maybe similar in some ways to Grave Seasons in that we don't know what the range is going to be. Probably will do well if it lands, but like, can you like let's say it's like a low 80.
Yep.
Just throwing that out there, and it ends up at an 82 or an 83. Can you not find something that's going to be proximate to that at this late stage in the game, right, where it's a little bit more secure points? So to me, that one just makes sense to drop. Okay, next up, Neath. This had a date. as of like this morning,
Yeah,
and then got switched to TBA. So we've added it to this list. It wasn't on this list initially. Yeah.
yeah.
So
This is an easy
this
one
is a
for
drop.
me,
Yeah.
John. This is
Yeah.
definitely a drop. I actually
Yeah.
did counterpick this a couple months ago in Super League, and at the time,
Yeah, your
uh,
counters are doing well in Super League. Good for you. Yeah.
they're so far they're doing okay. We'll see
Yeah.
about the at
Yeah.
Fate's End,
Yeah.
I just figured we would have heard about this game. By the time when I was counterpicking it, I hadn't heard. Apparently, there had been some announcement on their website, or they had posted on their website that they would be releasing a demo later this year, or something like that. Some sort of like
Mhm.
um, pay attention for an upcoming. I think it was a demo, and that was maybe a suggestion that if you're going to do that and you're announcing that now, chances are the game is not also going to come out
They come out.
in
Yeah.
within a very short window of that.
Yeah.
Um, and having this just kind of like move from a 2026 to a TBA, like this
Yeah.
game's not coming out
No.
this year.
No.
This
No.
game is
Yeah.
definitely not coming out this year. You can
Yeah.
drop it.
Yeah. And if any of these other kind of Metroidvanias come out, it's gonna just be a messy space. So yeah, I agree. Um, Next up, Pony Island 2. So with this game, you'll recall earlier
Hmm.
advice was that the developer was going to tell us a release date in
Yeah.
June. And if that release date had a 7 at the end of it, it would allow people to move on from this game appropriately. That did not happen. Did not they did send out a more recent note through their kind of regular memo to their followers, which just pointed to it's going to be at Gamescom supposedly,
Oh,
and I think probably we'll hear more at Gamescom,
good.
which hopefully will include a release date of some kind. But I think people are going to get to go. I don't know if it's hands on. I think there's a demo that they're launching and getting people to sign up for a demo. I think that was part of it. So people are going to be able to see it for the first time. But to me, this is still a hold for
Mm,
that reason. Maybe it's holding out hope, but I think there's a chance that release date information is coming in the next
next
a
couple
couple
weeks.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
This
don't
is
know. What are you
news to
thinking?
me, and it's good news to me because I own this in a couple of leagues, and one of them is counterpick, so I can't do anything with it anyways. Um, but yeah, no, that's great to hear. I think that knowing that it's going to be featured at Gamescom, I think that's a good sign. We definitely won't want to be dropping until we at least hear from that. I'm
Here,
not sure if this
yeah,
episode will be out before that conference comes out, anyways. But um, yeah, hold on to it until we at least find out what the
I think
information
there's.
is
I think
is,
yeah,
is
I think
coming
we'll
out of
get some
Gamescom.
more info soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
What would be worst case scenario is everybody goes and does the demo and it's amazing and we still don't have a date
yeah,
and then we're kind of in an at fate's end situation. But
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Maybe similarly lucid. This is a Metroidvania Celeste-like, which was kind of the innovation that this game was holding on to. Still no date. I think it had a summer 2026 beside it, but uh, I think work is ongoing here.
Yes.
Uh, it's hard to say because it looks like it's well advanced in kind of where the game needs to be, but I don't know how much confidence I have anymore in this title coming out this year. Um, so I would like to drop,
Yeah.
but I cannot because I can't move it.
Oh.
I can't move on to it. So I'm going to
Yeah.
say drop as advice.
Yeah.
I will say the game looks awesome.
Yeah.
Like I think people are going to really enjoy this, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm torn on this one as well, but I think I'm going to say drop also. The developer has been very active all year on social
Yes.
media, posting
Yes. Yep.
like clips of the game and trying to get engagement and keep, I guess, lucid in the public consciousness. And that I think is good. I don't know actually if the summer 2026
Window.
window has
Yeah.
even been updated, But it was, I remember distinctly, it was Q1. That's what
Yeah,
the release window was Q1. And so I do think that it's possible
I agree. Yeah.
that it comes out this year. I'm not sure that I'm willing to wait anymore, because as good as this game looks, and as I think there's a wide range of possibilities, like scores for this game. I don't think it's like it. It may have the ceiling
Hmm.
of a At Fate's End, but I don't think it has the floor of an At Fate's End. I think the
Correct.
floor is
Yeah,
much lower. So like, um, is it worth holding on to something with this much uncertainty in both date
probably.
and score?
Yeah, yeah,
Probably not.
yeah.
I probably am at this point looking for something more more firm, more less volatility.
I think the next one you also have a vested interest in, which is Well Dweller. So
Yes.
I'm going to let you start us on this one.
Yeah. Well, by the time this episode comes out, we may actually know a date, because
Yeah.
the developer has actually been teasing that there is going to be an announcement next week for the game. And I've seen him post on numerous occasions. The game is still coming this year. Like, he's been very adamant about this, and this again follows. We've talked about Well Dweller in the past. Kyle Thompson is the name of the dev, and he releases games at like a very steady clip. And he's always released games in August in the past. I guess that's still theoretically possible. But even if it gets, it bleeds into September or October. I mean, it's still um, I don't think he's beholden necessarily to an August date, but he's probably
Yeah.
kind of been aiming for that kind of like time frame, right? So I think this is definitely coming this year, and if you've got it, you might as well hold on to it.
I agree.
Yep,
One way or another, we're going to know shortly, I think. And
yep,
it looks great. So I think we were both nervous about the lack of date and lack of hearing anything. But if he's going to be making announcements soon, I think that's a hold for sure.
yep.
This is an interesting one. Enter the Gungeon 2. This is one that kind of gone back and forth on, but it has been on the Fantasy Critic radar, but we haven't heard anything lately.
Hmm.
Um, for me, I had been soured on this a little bit based on some of the Reddit things I was reading in terms of it going in a different direction from the original. I remember thinking about early on that I wasn't sure it was worth the risk because some of the original players were kind of like turned off by this. I think
Right.
it's a three more
Yep.
3D aesthetic. Um, so if we're combining that potential risk, which is I don't know if it's a major risk, but it's it's something. You got like you said, you got to go off of something. With the lack of date, I might say drop here at this point.
Yep.
But I think people are like you like it was meant to be a filler spot, right? It's like it's a game in a kind of a second tier, filling up a spot, hoping to get points based off the original's success. It kind of fits that mold, and it doesn't seem like it's going to do that. So I think you could probably find a replacement for this that would fit the bill nicely.
Yep. I would agree. Yeah, this one I turned a little around a little bit on this. Became a little bit higher after we had done our sequels episode, right, John? This one had come up
Yeah,
as one that actually is well positioned to to either meet or exceed the score of the first game. But we haven't heard anything on this
yeah,
game, and I still don't think that the ceiling is all that high. Like, you're probably like looking at 83, 84 at
yeah,
best, and I think more likely low 80s. And I think like that matters, right? Because those scores are much easier to replace with something off the waiver wire, and with a little bit more certainty, if you can find something that's going to be coming out this year, coming out soon. Like, yeah, I think that Enter the
yeah,
Gungeon 2 is probably a drop.
yeah. Agreed. Okay, I don't like this next one. Because I think it's going to be easier. Too easy. It's too easy. Virtue and a Sledgehammer. We've talked about this a bunch. I
Hmm.
think the game is showing great, getting a lot of critical praise, even in its kind of preview stages. There's a lot of smoke even though there's no release date. There's a lot of smoke.
Yep.
Um, so I had this counterpicked, and I had it counterpicked at the start of the year, mostly because I think when I was counterpicking, I didn't hear very much, and I thought maybe there was a chance it slips into the next year. It also seemed kind of ambitious in terms of what it was trying to do, and so sometimes you can miss on that. But this is not looking like it's going to miss if it comes out, which is
Hmm.
slightly devastating. And yeah, so to my chagrin, I'm going to say hold.
Yeah, I think you hold this one for sure.
I think it's ready. It
Yeah,
feels ready.
and people were really happy with the demo that released at the most recent
Mhm.
Steam Next Fest. It was on a lot of like top demos lists that I was at least seeing. Heard it talked about on several podcasts that I listened to. I think that this is going to score really well, and I think it's probably this year. Like I'd be pretty
Yeah.
surprised if this misses. So,
I'm
um,
really happy that people are countering Pokemon Pocopia because I feel like this might make like the list for like worst counter pick at some point this year.
yeah,
And so maybe there'll still be some others out there that, you know,
yeah,
are, yeah. Oh well. This is an interesting one. So we're both aligned there. Hold on
yeah.
Virtue. Um, Mariachi Legends. This is great showing, Mexican themed kind of Metroidvania, which I think early on in the year people were hyped for. It originally had, I think, a spring, if
It
I'm
was
not
a
mistaken,
Q2. I remember
Q2,
distinctly. It said Q2. Yeah,
and then it slipped now, and now they're saying Q4, which can
correct.
mean a variety of things. Um, I've already seen people move on from this. Where were you at with Mariachi Legends?
Yeah, I don't like the Q4 window,
Yeah,
and I also like. I think that this game is another one that like Lucid, like Well Dweller, like Blighted. I'm very excited to play this game. I think it looks fantastic. Um,
yeah.
but I do think that this not unlike not unlike a few of the games that we've talked about, have just a wide range. Like I think that I wouldn't be like blown away if this scores a 73. I think it's
Hmm.
more likely to be in the low 80s or something like that. But like it wouldn't, it wouldn't be the biggest surprise for it to get a 73 because I don't think that um, the previous game, which I'm blanking on now, had was anything exceptional in terms of scores. So the Q4 date, I think the volatility in terms of the actual scores itself, I think this is a drop for me at this point, as much as that one pains me.
I think I'm with you, except for one thing,
Mm,
right? My one like conspiracy theory about Q4. So Q4 could be calendar year Q4.
yeah,
Q4 could be fiscal year Q4, which would mean it's actually 2027, obviously. But there's one thing that gets me, and is the theming. And we've talked about the spooky games wanting to come out in spooky season.
yeah,
Well, this game being Mexican themed, I think around Day of the Dead, if I'm not mistaken, is a November 1st, 2nd kind of holiday.
yeah.
And I do wonder, because they've switched it to Q4, if that's not the target. Is that enough for me? Is that enough of a conspiracy for me to hold at this point? Probably not. but I think it's a possibility. Like, let's come back to this in November, and I'll be curious if I was right. But I think I'm with you. I think the risk is just too high that you're left holding a bag until November 1st, hoping for some sort of miracle.
Yeah,
And I don't think you can bank on that kind of belief. So I'm going to go with drop.
yeah.
And then finally, couldn't get away from it. Had to talk about DLC
Yep.
because DLC is killing it this year. Apparently, Hollow Knight Silk Song has DLC, which many people have picked up and are waiting on. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start? Mine's gonna be
Well,
very fast. Mine's gonna
is
be very
it
quick.
okay?
Oh
So
yeah.
it's a hold for you.
No.
Oh, it's a drop. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
The last DLC took 7 years to come out.
That's true.
There is a pattern, right? Like I'm not playing that game and holding out hope.
Well,
No, I am not.
I'm going to say actually I'm going to say hold because if
Okay.
you've got this, here's my rationale.
Yeah.
The
Convince me.
ceiling is as high as any game that we're talking about here today.
Yes.
Last year, they released or they showed at was it Gamescom, and that and then said that it's coming out in like 2 weeks or something, right? So
Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
hold it until we at least probably say for another month or something like that. If you've got this on your roster, it's there's nothing that you can replace it with that is coming anywhere close to the potential in terms of scores
That's
as
fair.
Hollow Knight Silksong DLC. So
That's fair.
um, that all that said, I'm not super confident it's coming, but I think like if you've invested at this point, like
Maybe.
you might as well just hold on to
Until
it for
until
a
what
little.
point? Until what point are you
Until
dropping
what
this?
point? I would say until early October. I'm
Okay.
probably going to hold on to
I
it
mean,
till early October.
that's a fair. That's not horrible. If you haven't heard
Yeah,
anything by then,
yeah,
I just I don't know. I'm just traumatized. Like the
yeah,
game turned into a
yeah,
sequel that took that many. Like I just don't. And this is not meant as like derogatory. This is meant like as praise. They don't
yeah,
know how to self edit,
yeah.
right? Like, and I don't think they're motivated to self edit. Like, there's nothing. They're not financially motivated. This is purely passion at this point. And if it's anywhere like has any sort of like big content beefiness to it, like I don't know. I hadn't played
So
Silksong yet, so I don't know how it fits
so
in.
I
So
haven't
I'm
either.
speaking from ignorance here. I'm
So the Hollow Knight, the original Hollow Knight, Silksong, yes, started out as DLC, but there were other DLCs that came out
that's fair.
for Hollow Knight, right? And they came out. I don't know exactly what the time frames were. I was kind of late on the original Hollow Knight,
Yeah.
so by the time I bought it, all of those kind of pack-ins, I think it was like two or three,
Okay.
were part of the package that I had purchased, right? And so we don't know much about this DLC. Like I haven't frankly been following its development, so maybe this is some of this information is out there already, but I'm unaware of it. But we don't really know what the scope of this proposed
Yeah.
DLC even is. Is it on like obviously it's not going to be like Silk Song full game length, but it could be so it could be on the smaller side, I guess is what I'm saying. And in which case the development time might not be quite as much. Then I think you potentially run into considerations about is it going to get enough reviews? Does it have enough content to
Yeah.
warrant like all of that stuff? But like until we at least know a little bit more about it, I think again, if you've invested with it at this point, I think it's probably you probably hold at least for a little bit longer.
Um, I am shocked that you're
Yeah,
advocating for
yeah,
DLC right now. I'm
yeah.
shocked and a little bit
I
appalled,
I don't
but
own
we'll
this
be
in
split.
any
Me
on any
neither.
team, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't have
Yeah.
put it on any of my teams because
I should
I.
probably go back and look if it's available. It's a
um,
good watch list game for me. Like,
yeah,
you don't know. Like, I might have to make a move. Uh
yeah,
anyway, that's really funny. No, that was great. And that rounded out our list. So I mean, I think that was a you know, really insightful conversation. Hopefully, we're aligned with where others are. I'm sure we'll hear from people as they listen to the episode whether we've got it really wrong or not. I think Marcus will try and shoot to get this up like somewhere on Blue Sky so people can actually like visually see it. Probably after
sure,
the
yeah, that'd
episode
be great.
goes live, and that way they could actually like have a bit of a list and a reference sheet.
Yeah,
We'll try and put something together on that. So yeah, that was awesome. What's next? Well, why don't we do the news?
Let's get into the news.
Okay, before we get into the games list, I thought we would to take a moment to to address a little controversy that popped up on the Blue Sky just a little while ago, a couple weeks back. If for those that weren't following in the Discord or aren't following, tons of journalists like we do, um, Rebecca Valentine recently had a Blue Sky post, formerly of IGN, currently of Kotaku. Really, really amazing reporter in terms of the stories that she covers. Just acknowledging the existence and kind of the specifically weird instance interaction she had with regards to Fantasy Critic, uh, basically calling out someone who approached her via email, uh, essentially trying to influence her to actually uh, provide a score. So she had done a review for a game. It was unscored, as most journalists will do, because sometimes they don't feel comfortable with review scores per
Well,
se.
I think that all of Kotaku's reviews are unscored. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like
Yeah.
I lived through this where you have, you need that final third review score to come in so that Open Critic can land a score. And someone decided to approach her to potentially, uh, you know. Uh, Try and add a score to that verbal description of how she interacted with the game, and it just created a bit of a firestorm if you saw the comments and kind of the
Mhm.
fallout. um
Well, and part of the pleading for the score was also jokingly offering her money
yeah,
to include a
yeah,
score. And so
yeah,
whether or not that was a serious offer, I think that Rebecca took it seriously as
yeah,
potentially the at least the perception of a bribe being offered for a review
yeah,
score. Yeah.
yeah. I think it rubbed me and a number of others. I know that in the Discord, there's a lot of chatter as well. Just like it just gives the whole community like a bad look. Like, I get that some people don't even understand what we're doing here with Fantasy Critic, but just use some common sense and
Yeah.
don't approach people you don't know with weird asks like that. Like,
Yeah, don't
just
be that
like that
guy.
is just
Just or
don't be that
girl.
guy
Don't be
or
that
girl.
person. Yes.
It's just so
Yeah.
awkward.
Yeah.
All it did was like, and I think she was actually very kind, having had to her account previous interactions like that with regard to Fantasy Critic. So, I know a number of reviewers that actually participate in Fantasy Critic and they do so with a lot of integrity and everything. But it's just like, let's keep it fun and light, people. Like,
Mhm.
Jesus. It's like, journalism is actually like a profession where you have to like have the skill set to apply like impartial. Anyway, just I don't need to get into it. Just don't be that person. Like, don't be weird when
Yes.
it comes to Fantasy Critic.
Yeah, I mean
So
it made me think of like the fantasy sports person is like, okay,
yeah,
hit a home run for me. I need you for my fantasy team, and you're
yeah,
interacting with the actual players via social media. It's like they
it's
don't care.
just
Like, what do
yeah,
you just
just
let us
stop.
have
Yeah,
like do our little game outside of the actual people
everything
that are
else.
that are
Yeah,
doing the scoring and stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Don't be that
So
person.
yes, and if Rebecca Valentine ever wants to come on to address the Fantasy Critic community, we'd be
Yes.
happy to. I know Steve was weighing in too. It's just like, yeah, the whole thing was not great. So let's be cool. Let's all be
Yep.
cool. Yeah. Okay. Some other gaming news. Some dates here. So God of War Lafe got dated February 2027. Everything's coming in February 2027. Apparently,
Yep.
great.
Potential
But
first overall pick, God of War, Lao
yes,
Fei.
let's add
Yes.
it. Let's add it to the list of games as we start considering our 2027 drafts.
Yep.
Blood Dungeon, which I think we're going to talk about in a little bit, did get a date as well, August 25th. I don't know if that's going to be available for pickup from the time that this goes live, but I thought it was worth mentioning. It was on a
Mhm.
number of waiver wire selections. So thought it was worth mentioning here. Could have some fantasy critic relevance.
I added this
Any
in
thoughts?
Super League,
Oh,
John. Yes.
oh wow.
Yes. Yes, I
Oh,
did.
you won that bid.
I
Oh
did.
my god, I haven't been paying attention enough, clearly.
I
I don't
spent
have any
quite a bit of
slots
money
left, so I
on too.
can't.
I think I was like $30 or
Right,
something.
I
Yeah.
do recall this. Yes,
Mhm.
yes. But I think that was your last spot or second
I
last
have
spot or
one
something.
more. I have
So
one more. But
one more. Yeah, yeah.
I still have a decent amount of budget. I think 40 something. But yeah,
Hmm.
I was starting to get a little antsy. I think I'd missed out on a couple of bids the last few months,
Yes,
and I
it
still
can
had
really
those
put you
two.
on tilt. This public bidding. It can really,
Yeah,
really set you off. I know that
it
did to
really
me early in
does.
the year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was just like, I need to get something because I also have a few
yeah,
other. I have Grave Seasons, and I had Well
yeah.
Dweller at both without any dates, and I was just like, I need to get something on my roster that's going to get me points. Um, I think that Blood Dungeon looks good. People have
Yeah.
been seem to be happy about it. I think that the range of scores for this is probably fairly narrow. Mid to high 70s to low 80s is probably what
Hmm.
we're looking at, which I'd be happy with, to be honest.
Yeah.
If I get a high 70s, I'm okay with that. I just kind of wanted to get something on my roster with points. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, Blood Dungeon.
Nice.
So these are the guys as
Uh,
well that did Wheel World last year, which didn't
mhm.
review all that well, but they also did the Nidhogg games. So I'm fairly
Which did. Yeah.
which did, yeah, low 80s at
Yeah.
least. And
Yep.
I'm fairly confident that it'll, because of that track record, is going to get reviews, which has been a bit of a crapshoot with some of these smaller games that have released over the summer.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's a good one. Yep. Okay, quick DLC to our topic of the month. Screenbound gets delayed from September 10th to TBA.
yeah,
Marcus, what are you doing with Screenbound?
yeah.
Are you
Drop,
dropping or holding? Okay,
absolutely drop.
wow,
Yeah,
drop.
yeah,
Okay, that was fast.
yeah.
Well, decide for yourselves. We're not adding it to the list. Okay, keep it moving. Attack on
Would you
Titan
not drop?
3.
Just let's stop on down
I
on
don't
that.
know. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably. TBA
yeah,
is very scary. Like,
yeah,
that's a
yeah,
very scary thing to see happen to you so late in the year. Yeah, probably drop.
yeah.
I've been high on Screenbound. I was really looking forward to it. So, um, Attack on Titan 3 got delayed until December 10th. I don't know if that's super relevant, but I thought I'd mention it.
Okay.
I think the second one did, like, I think it had, like, it's not like, I think it's
I
out
don't know
there. It's
anything
not,
about this. Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't know this one at all. I missed it when it was reviewed in
yeah.
Show Doc. Yeah.
There's a couple, it's drafted in a few weeks, so I
Okay.
figured I'd mention it. Tome 2 got dated for September 29th. Let's hold on to that thought before we start talking about things to
Sure.
replace all the drop games with.
Sure. Yeah.
Anything else on Tome 2, or do you want to leave it for later?
Well, we can hold on to that one for now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Lily's World XD got dated for September 17th. This is the game which we kind of decided probably not worth taking a flyer on, but looks very unique,
Yep.
a little bit creepy, but developed by, I think, first time dev slash influencer streamer, um, giving Doki Doki Literature Club vibes in terms of how it approaches things. So maybe,
Yep.
but just thought I'd mention the date. This is relevant. Order of the Sinking Star, which previously was on our list, but as of this week got dated, came off of our list, is now dated for October 8th. So definitely holding at this
Yep.
point on Order of the Sinking Star if you have it.
Definitely. Yeah. I was actually I didn't think there was any chance this game was coming this year. So I don't know if how obviously
I,
I'd misinterpreted the
well,
signs or whatever, but like October 8th, I was kind of shocked.
yeah, at the start of the year, I was with you. When they showed it, I think it was a Nintendo Direct that they showed it. I'm like, oh, they showed it at a direct, and
Mm.
I was like, oh no, there's better chance I think of it landing, given how when it was shown there. So yeah. Um. Okay. Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War 4 delayed from
It's quite the
September
name. Yeah.
to December 3rd. So still in year, but it's getting a little hairy if you have it. So I think it'll probably land. December 3rd might not be the worst date for that game either. Like it's got a
Sure.
bit of
Yeah.
a window post GTA launch, but it's still kind of
Yeah.
tight. Um,
That's a drop it for me, John.
yeah,
I'm dropping that one. Yeah.
all right. I had to add this in because of all the DLC scores. I don't know
Yeah.
if you noticed that. Ghost of Yote, Echoes of Sekigahara got
Oh,
dated
nice.
for October 1st.
Hmm.
And this sounds like a content update. I'm putting it on my watch list for the moment
Okay.
that other things get delayed. I'm still very weary of DLC despite what's gone on this year,
I
but
know.
I thought I'd mention it. Anything on this definitive edition with DLC and all the rest?
I would feel better about it had Legends got a score. Like,
Yes, God, yeah, yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
um,
yeah. That's fair.
so yeah. But if this is like an Iki Island, which was the DLC for Tsushima,
Yeah,
but this has
I don't
like
know.
roguelite component to it, right? Like, isn't
I
this like a
think
rogue?
so,
I believe that's what
but I
I
thought
had
there was a
heard.
story. I thought there was a story component as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So,
Because
yeah.
like I did take a look at the God of War Ragnarok. I think it's called
Hmm.
Valhalla. That had
Hmm.
plenty of reviews, like got scores.
Yeah, and I
So
played that. Well, you see, here's the thing though with that roguelike mode, it was tied to story though.
yeah,
So there was like unlocking, it was a progression and it was tied to a different part. So
mm,
I think maybe that's what drew people back, or it was just a slow period. I don't know, but um, yeah. Ontos bumped to 2027, so that's good news if you're holding there. I think that's worth moving on from. Uh, and then just a couple things here that everybody's already heard about. If they're listening, you've likely heard already. The other news that we had is we got a Fire Emblem Direct, so we already had a Direct this month, and Fire Emblem is showing and previewing. Sorry, not just the Direct. Then we got hands-on previews,
Right.
and everything is pointing in the right direction for Fire Emblem
Yeah. Yeah.
Fortune's
People see,
Weave.
everybody that I've heard talk about it seems incredibly
Yeah,
excited. So,
it seems to be. I don't want to call it return to form. I think that's lame. But it seems to be like the next evolution of whatever Three Houses was,
yeah.
and introducing turn-based combat. I don't know if anybody's talking about that enough. There's like a just turn-based RPG element in the game now in
Okay.
dungeons,
Okay.
so it's like actually like broader than just
Just the
tactics. I
tactics.
don't know.
Okay.
No
Hmm.
one's really talking about that, but that seemed to be different. But yes, looking good for those that have it.
If I'm not
Hold,
mistaken, John,
hold Fire
remind,
Emblem.
yes, hold on that one. Um, uh, did you say this was a lock at the beginning of the year?
I may have.
I
I don't
think you
know.
may
I got to
have.
go
Yeah.
back.
Check the
Yeah,
tape. Yeah, we'll go to check the
yeah,
tape on that one because I think that
yeah.
you
We'll
might
go
have
to
had
it.
this one right. But I think we were both pretty
Okay.
high on Fire Emblem
Yeah.
Fortune's Weave.
I mean,
Yeah.
it still could be high 80s, not low 90s. Like,
Sure.
I don't know, but I can't
Yeah.
remember what Three Houses did. But it definitely could get there,
Yep.
or exceed it. And then adding to the weird 2027 list of potential draft games, Kingdom Hearts 4 got showed at D23, and I guess they're saying late 2027 for this game, which, it will be risky, but someone's going to pick it up. And
Somebody will
yeah,
definitely draft this game next year. Yeah, in your league.
yeah,
Yep.
lots of news, lots of fun news. Okay. Let's look back at the month that was and also talk about where people might want to put their bid dollars to replace all those games they're going to drop.
Hype check.
Let's start with the recap of our scores. So, talking again about DLC, The Altar's Last Variable scoring a respectable 79, not horrible. Are you going to play that, by the way?
No, probably not because I played the original on Game Pass and which I no longer have. So I'm not going to be purchasing the full game
Yes.
and then the DLC on top of it. So
Okay, got you.
yeah,
It is on a sale right now. FYI, for everybody listening, The Altar's on sale right now on
yeah,
Steam.
play
Uh,
it, everybody. It's really good.
it's on my wish list. That's
Yeah,
what I know. Incident at Galley House scored an 84, which I think that's probably where most people wanted it to be and got there.
eventually
Ma,
it took a while to get the
yeah,
reviews.
that's true. That is true.
I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
it. I had it on two teams, and I was really, really, I don't know, biting my nails a little bit for it. And frankly, I thought it was going to go a little higher. I think it was like one review that's dragging it down because there's not that many that
Oh,
are counting to the score here. Yeah.
interesting.
Hmm.
Moss, which was that VR game, which they kind of reconstructed to be, not VR, scoring an 80.
Yep.
That's not bad. Bit of a filler game. This is a big one. Mermaid's Mask scoring an 86. So I
Yep.
think we had talked about this early on in the year. Um, Good on those that had it, kind of delivering on the promise. Are you going to play this? The writing looks
We'll see.
spectacular.
It's a detective game, which usually isn't my
Yeah,
thing. But
I watched
this is a,
I watched $2 Hero play it
yeah, yeah,
on his
yeah.
stream, and
Yeah.
it's hilarious. It looks
Okay,
amazing.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is like the latest in the series. So there are two other games prior to this. Uh, the one before it is called Tangle Tower, and the one before that I can't remember, but it features the same kind of like detective character and his sidekick or I don't know partner. Um, and so yeah, these aren't typically my games, but Michael and I actually had inside baseball here. A sneak peek is we were talking about maybe doing Tangle Tower for Tiny Game
Oh,
Chronicles. So
nice.
yeah,
Oh, here we
yeah,
go. Stay tuned.
stay
That'd be a
tuned.
good one. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Desktop Explorer, which Another game we've talked about, I think probably exceeding the expectations, hitting an 87. Yeah, all good things on that one. I'm glad that
Yep.
that one's doing well because I really like the aesthetic. I kind of want to try it out for myself.
Mm.
Um, it's just, I love the premise. So really good, rewarding of innovation there. Um, yeah, anything on desktop
Not
score?
really. That's definitely not my type of game. So, but
Yeah.
good scores for sure.
And these are all streamed by Seth games. We've
Yeah.
talked about his taste in the past, so
Yep.
not surprised. Next one, Splatoon Raiders coming in at an 82. Now, if you had asked me before I played the game, I'd be like, that's about right.
Yeah. You gotta check the tape on our pixel prognostications. We were probably right around that
Yeah,
number, right? Yeah.
I think we were all in the same range because we
Yeah.
didn't, low 80s for sure, all day, every day.
Yeah.
Playing it, I don't know. I think it's higher than that. I think
Yeah.
about this game regularly. I've had to put it down, and it is not my type of game. Like before, people like I actually hate grinding in games. I do not like number goes up games. I
Mm.
don't like tinkering with my builds. I hate that shit. And for whatever reason, I feel like I'm obsessed. And Splatoon, I've never been that close to it. And I don't know. There's some secret sauce in this game. I think
Huh.
about it regularly. I'm now playing my Switch way more in handheld than I normally do, just
Okay.
to grind out the levels so that I can get the true ending.
Wow.
Going to level, yeah, I think this is probably close. Like, I don't think it deserves the highest scoring game of the year by any means, but for what they've accomplished here
Hmm.
and the way it performs, I'm like, I don't know. I guess it's a little bit samey. Maybe that's where it got knocked. But anyway, Marcus, this game's great. So,
I'll take your word for it, John. I don't know if I've even seen gameplay of this game. So yeah,
uh, I think it doesn't show
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
like even in the previews and stuff. Anyway, okay. Next rant. Halo campaign evolved, scoring at 81.
Yeah.
I mean, this is also probably where we landed on Halo, maybe slightly lower than we had thought, but
Actually, I
I
think
think
it's
I
a little
picked
higher. I
83.
was I was down on this, so I think
Yeah,
I had said mid 70s or something.
I had said
Yeah.
83 because I thought it'd be at least as good as the Star Fox
Okay.
remake, but clearly not.
Not quite.
Um, this one I think suffered a little bit from just it being the exact same game, and I think there were some performance issues on PC, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
But you know, if you haven't played it in 25 years, it was fun to go back to.
Yeah.
Oh, and the lack of multiplayer. Let's not forget.
Right. Yes.
Even though
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
care about that,
Yeah.
I think that was part of the narrative there. Beast of Reincarnation, 74. Marcus, you were low on this, and you were right.
Yeah. I don't know. It kind of like hearing people talk about it. This is one I got. I don't know. I zeroed in and I kind of saw exactly
The
what
writing
because
for the yeah,
everything that people are saying is exactly what I felt like it was going to be. Um, Kind of repetitive, kind of a mess story. I think this is a game that is just going to be 6 months from now. People are going to forget that it existed.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is probably one of the biggest disappointments of the year so far.
Mm.
So that's interesting. But yeah, it's on Game Pass if people want to try it out. I think so. Um, Marcus, this next one, you were low on this as well, but not correct. Big Walk.
Yeah.
I'm sure,
Well,
truthfully, at the start
funny
of the year,
enough,
you
I
convinced me. You convinced me of the value of this game at the start of
at
the
the
year,
beginning of the
and then
year,
you
right? I think
really
this was a
tipped off on
sleeper of mine, right? Or something like
yeah,
that.
scoring an
And then
89.
I know this might be the surprise. I talk about roller
Yeah,
coasters like this.
yeah,
I was pretty high on this game, and then I became very low on this game, and then obviously I'm high on it again because uh,
yeah.
an 89. This might be my biggest surprise of the year. I just everything I had
Mm,
kind of like seen and heard after that initial kind of like research that we were doing for the draft
mhm.
and stuff. um, I thought it could do well. At that point, I wasn't expecting an 89. Like
I
it was
have it in
maybe
two
like low
leagues, and I'm
80s.
surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought low 80. I was going to be happy with low
low
80s.
80s would have
Like
been great.
yeah, yeah,
At the draft, if I thought, yeah,
yeah.
this could be a game that gets you in the low 80s. That's great.
Did
89.
not see this.
This is one of the best reviewed games of the year, and what people are saying about it that I've heard people mention on podcasts. It sounds again, not really a game for me, but sounds really unique and fantastic. This is not just a regular old friend
Oh,
slot game, right?
yeah. Let's never say never. Maybe we get a group together and we go on a walk, Marcus.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Maybe. But I agree with you. And I think actually the part that I'm most excited about this is not the score, although it has helped me in a couple of leagues. It's the pedigree for this developer. I just think now is just going to be
Yeah,
something to watch for in terms of what they do next, because there just seems like they're always doing something that's a bit culturally revolutionary. If that's like
yeah.
maybe too hyperbolic, but I mean, Untitled Goose Game had um, like celebrities playing it and surprised
Mm.
at what it was and enjoying like it just yeah, they've done it again. So
Well, and just, like I have they almost I'm sure there's other examples, but like they've kind of taken this friend slop sort of concept, but plopped it into like a finite campaign. Like as I understand, you play this game for 15 or 20 hours with your friends and then it's done. You
yeah.
don't continue to play it. I think like I don't know if developers want some developers obviously want you to be just engaging with their game indefinitely. For me,
Hmm.
that's not what I'm looking for. I want to be able to play a game, have the experience, and then move on. And so, like, if there
Yeah.
is a multiplayer game, maybe I shouldn't say never on this one because like that's super appealing to me. Even
Yeah.
even if like the multiplayer generally isn't like just
Yeah.
knowing that this is a finite experience and you kind of go through it with your friends and then you get to the end and you're done and that's it.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's a finite experience, but it also, I think, is the way that they drive you. Like from what I've seen, I haven't played it yet, but I've watched people play it and heard people talk about it. And it very much about how the environment drives you
Mm,
to solve puzzles or be separated and then re-encounter um, surprises.
yeah.
Like it surprises you naturally. Um, and the way they've designed all that seems like a bit of a masterclass in it. So yeah, I'm excited to see not only try this game out, but also see what they do next. It's kind
Yeah.
of amazing what they've accomplished. So okay, keeping it going, more DLC. Pokemon Pocopia's new Under the Sea DLC. I don't know what it's called. It scored an 88, which
I
is
know.
I'm shocked. But yeah,
I thought this would be a candidate for not getting enough reviews. Not necessarily that
I
it would
thought
review poorly, but like
I agree. I thought,
yeah.
there's that potential for sure, and there it is. People were very excited.
Yep.
I added this one in. I don't think it was on too many people's radars. Restory Chill Electronics Repair, scoring an 86. I believe it was Podcast Unlocked. I'm pretty sure I heard someone at IGN speaking about this earlier in the year, and trying it out at a conference or whatever, and talked highly about it. I never moved on it, but clearly they had seen something because 86 is, I think, a really good score
Yeah,
for that
I
game.
hadn't heard of this until I started seeing the
Yeah,
reviews on OpenCritic. Yeah.
I love the concept. So yeah,
Mm,
glad they getting acknowledged. Sovereign Tower scoring an 89. I know this was a big one in the Fantasy Critics Super League.
yep.
Any thoughts on Sovereign Tower besides it
I
just
saw
landing
it when
and
I was researching for Critics Royale actually and
okay.
I added it to my team on this quarter, which is not doing well, just a brief
Hmm.
update. I'm not doing particularly well, but I did snag this. Um and I think it was also a candidate for not getting enough reviews, but I thought it did look really cool and the review scores show 89. Not bad.
Yep. Duskvade scored an 80. This one was not on my radar at all, to some
Mm.
people's surprise, but I don't know what Duskvade is, but 80 is not bad.
In our
Uh,
BFAM community, Jazzy has been so excited about this game
yes,
all
I think he
year.
beat
So
it. He's beat it already.
he's
Like it
already
just came out.
finished it, yes,
Yeah,
and he had
yeah,
drafted it on his fantasy critic team.
yeah.
Uh, I don't know, picked it up probably shortly after the draft. So he's been excited. So that's how it came on my radar is because I saw that he
Shout out to him.
had
I
some
like it
excitement.
as a post-draft pickup. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a little 10 points, gets you going.
Yep.
Um, the Sinking City 2 scored an 81.
Yeah.
Good.
This
Just
one kind of
following
came
up
out of
on the
nowhere
other.
to me. I like,
Yep.
I've heard of the Sinking City. I don't know that I know what it even looks like, and I
Yeah.
didn't know that it was coming out. And then all of a sudden, I see it show up on Open Critics. So yeah, kind of caught me
Yeah.
off guard.
This next one's interesting. Steins Gate reboot scoring an 86. You'll recall that I talked highly about this one some time ago.
I think it was
And
coming after
speaking
out
of,
of Summer Games Fest. You
yeah,
had said this is one to add.
yeah, and I dropped. So this was a filled spot, a remakes or reimagining slot that I had to fill, and I think we could only have one. Can't remember. And I had Shovel Knight, the Shovel of Hope, the
Okay.
remix or whatever that they're going to drop. That's still to come apparently, and it did never dated or anything. It was supposed to come out last
Oh.
year,
Oh,
the
okay.
DX version, and then didn't come out, and then I just thought it might come out this year. Anyway, I made that move. I'm
Yep.
glad I did because
Yes.
that's a good reward on that.
Yep.
Unlike this next one, Mortal Shell 2 scoring an 85, which I stupidly counterpicked in the BFAM League. Um, I thought
Yeah.
it would be in the 70s. I thought it would be a chance for 70s,
The
even if it did
first the
come out.
first one
But
was low 70s. So this one bucked the
yeah,
trend of our
yeah,
sequels in terms of really exceeding. I will say that
kind
I'd
of
heard a
fits the
couple.
model too. Yeah, the
Yeah,
double A kind of, yeah,
it does.
yeah.
I will say that a few people I had heard talk about had played a demo recently, must have been Steam
Hmm.
Next Fest, and had spoken quite highly of it. So there was that, but I still wasn't expecting an 85. We'll see if it holds. It's been out for a little while now, so it's probably not going to move much. So yeah, 85 is a real good score for that game.
Next up, Tokon Fighting Souls sticks the landing, scores an 87, which I think is where a lot of people had it
Yep.
landing. Just
Yep.
doing well generally.
Right about where I
Yep.
had hoped it would go. I've got it on two teams, and it did exactly what I had wanted it to.
Yep.
So pretty good.
And then just before we started recording, Deltarune Chapter 5 finally got enough review scores,
Finally,
and
yeah,
that's an 83. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. So,
Probably a little lower than people who had it were looking for. Right, 83 would people
probably.
be like mid to high 80s for that?
Yeah, I'm sure there's only 3 scores up there right now or something. So
That's true. So it
I'm
could
sure it
still
could
move a little
fluctuate.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what's coming up. The waiver wire. Let's talk about what's still out there, where people might be able to put their money um, to replace all those drops we just told them to make,
Yeah.
Marcus. Because obviously you got to know what's available in your own league. There's going to be games on these lists that we may have told you to hold that might actually be decent replacements for the stuff that you're going to be dropping. But what else? Like where else can people be looking? We've mentioned earlier we are in the shadow of Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show, which there could be some surprises upcoming. Um, where do you want to start? Thoughts on where people could potentially make some pickups?
Well,
Oh, I should mention, I called Neath another Metroidvania before. I know it's a tactical RPG. I don't know why I always make that mistake with that game.
oh,
I was
okay.
getting confused in my mind. I realized as we were talking,
Mm,
just a
I missed
callback
that.
to
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, but it
Um,
is at this point a drop. So
just doesn't change
yeah.
the fact that it's still a drop. Yeah.
No, yeah,
Um, so yeah, you mentioned it early. I think we have to start with Toem 2. I like that one a lot. Probably a real solid bet for low 80s as a floor.
yeah.
And probably not a huge range for that, but like low to mid 80s is what you're looking at for Toem 2. And it's got a date. It was supposed to be, I think it had a window of uh summer this year, and then it got a date for late September. So yeah, if that one's available. Blood Dungeon is another one. I think that's a reasonable pickup. And this other one that you have listed here is one that I would have said as well too. John, is End of Abyss. We haven't talked
Okay,
about
you
that
do
one at
like it.
all. I do
No,
like it. Yeah.
let's. Yeah, that's one I wasn't sure. I know it got dated. I think it's October 1st, and it's a bit of a creepy
Yep.
game also, but I don't know how to judge it. I've noted that it's been making moves on the waiver wire. So over the last 3 weeks, the normal stuff that you would expect. There's been a lot of repetition. The games, Mortal Shell, Big Walk, obviously, early on in the month. Later on in the month, um, you see a lot of movement around Silent Hill. End of Abyss makes an appearance. And then there's a few others that we're going to talk about in a minute. But it's been relatively stable. Like there hasn't been like that much difference on the waiver wire. But I think End of Abyss is one to keep an eye on. I think it could potentially replace something just because it has a date. It'll probably be a decent score. Um, it's on my like watch list potentially because again, especially if you're holding through September, you're going to need something to make a move with later on. So just keeping an eye on that is probably worthwhile at this point.
Yeah, I think it was previewed at Summer Games Fest. I feel like some of the creators that I follow that had attended Summer Games Fest had come back and talked about this as being one of their favorite experiences of the weekend or whatever. And it's former Little Nightmares devs. So
Mhm.
it's got that creepy vibe. Top down. I think this one's more isometric than Little Nightmares, because Little Nightmares is more like 2.5D. But I'm thinking that's what this is. Maybe I'm mistaken, but either way, um, I think this has some signs that point to it having a pretty safe floor at least, and it's got a date. So yeah, this is definitely one um, that is a good replacement for for some of those games that we advised for you to drop. So
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's a um, pretty, I wouldn't say safe because obviously there's still going to be some risk with these, but not horrible. Um, I want to call out or shout out as we're going through like where people can put their money. You know, it has been a bit of a quiet period. There's not that much movement on the waiver wire, but I was like caught a little bit flat-footed this past week, at least in the PSVG league, when I look in on Saturday and there's like bidding competitions for games that I was like, I don't know what these are, and maybe that's on me. Maybe I've been a bit. I got my teams filled, so like I'm not wading in too far. But these two I think are worth talking about. So I'm going to share what moves have been made over there. The first one is Silver Pines. This says uh, scheduled and has a release date now for October 8th. Um, it looks like again lots of creepy games getting like some love. Um, it's a detective game. Sounds like you're kind of like solving mysteries, but it kind of has like this kind of dark look to it. Um, on lots of different consoles, PS5, Xbox, Switch, PC, and I believe it's. Let me just confirm this before I say this out loud. Yes. No, I won't say that out loud. But it's one that's been getting a bit of hype and actually had a bit of a. Um, the demo has a very positive review score on Steam, and honestly, people have been hearing about it through different channels. So I just thought it'd be worth mentioning to put on a watch list, or even just start digging into it a little bit as a potential ad, especially if you're looking for late releases.
yeah, Silver Pines. I wanted to check Super League to see if it's being added there, and it seems like it has been. And so Super League, obviously we talk about it
It was,
as
yeah.
um, it's very deep. Like there's people there are kind of on the ball, right? And so seeing that it's been picked up in a handful of the Super League divisions. I don't think it's in ours. I think it's still available in ours, if I'm not mistaken, John. But
It might be.
yeah, I mean, I think that
And then,
it would probably be below those other ones that we've mentioned for me. But if you happen to be in a really deep league, it might be something worth looking into a little bit more.
yeah. And then the other one I thought was worth calling out was Over the Hill. So just, again, I'm always curious. So I started, looking into it in terms of, Uh, you know, and this was picked up by Sean Capri, who we've had on the show, and a shout out to him because I thought this was a sneaky little pickup. You look at the breakdown of this game; it got a release date. It just got a release date on August 10th, so it's released on October 14th. I think it's had a demo on Steam, if I'm not mistaken. The developer is Fun Selector Lads, and I was looking at some of the stuff that they've made before, and it's generally well received. And I think some of the discourse is pretty positive. So I can't vouch for it, but from the little bit that I've read about this game, I thought it was worth mentioning because I thought, hey, that's
Mm.
a decent pickup in my estimation. It could be a bit of a sneaky pick if it gets enough
I'm
scores and
wondering,
all
this
that, right?
this game looks familiar. I'm looking at it right now. Was this on a 6-1 indie showcase?
It may have been. Yeah. One of the other games that the developer has made is Art of Rally, and it has like a low 80 score. So they have some stuff that's been kind of you know out there, and scoring pretty well. So I thought it was worth mentioning because yeah, things are going to get tight, especially until we hear more about maybe some surprises for the fall. So I think it's just worth having a bit of a watch list, even if you're not ready to make the move.
Right.
Having a bit of a selection to go to, right? This definitely feels like fantasy football at this stage where you're kind of like down, you're
Yeah.
down into the depths and trying to find that, that one play that's going to kind of make a difference on a team on a particular any given Sunday. So,
Yeah.
um, anyway, yeah. Any other
No, I
games
mean
or things?
it's it's pretty thin out there right now, and hopefully we'll
Yeah,
see a few more options that do get announced with these upcoming showcases, Gamescom and TGS that we've mentioned already, and there might become a few more, I don't know, solid options for you to consider. But
yeah,
as of right now, there is not much because there's a couple of the leagues that I'm in, I'm set, but a couple others that
yeah.
I'm still looking to round things out. And I just every once in a while I'll go in and see and scroll through and like maybe I've missed something. And it's just like there's nothing here that I that I want to swap out.
Mine
So
is, yeah, my issue is I'm waiting on release dates pretty much in every league.
yeah,
Like, I think I have at least one or two of the games that we've mentioned today.
yeah,
So I don't know what I'm gonna do. And in some of those leagues, I can't even make a move until it's confirmed as a delay into 2027.
right,
So I'm actually like not in a good spot. I'm not feeling so hot right now, Marcus, versus where I was or how I was feeling earlier in the year.
yeah,
Um, anyway, if it's out there, the other thing I would just mention is that Star Wars Galactic Racer keeps getting really amazing previews. So for
it's
whatever
true.
reason you're in a league that doesn't that this game is available, I don't know why that would be the case, but you know, be paying attention to that. It's poised to make a splash where I think we all kind of, I wouldn't say overlooked it, but didn't give it maybe the credibility that it deserved earlier in the season. So
Recognize so I still think if you were to add Star Wars Galactic Racer, you have to be prepared for a wide range of outcomes. I
sure.
think,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Like it
despite
could do
everything,
okay.
yeah.
I think it, but it also could still kind of still land where we originally thought it would be, which is probably more like a low 70s game. I think that's possible.
Yeah, with some of the stuff that people are saying, I don't know if that's in my. I don't know. I think the range has shrunk a little bit in my
Okay.
mind.
Okay. That's,
Yeah, I think this. I think the floor has come up a bit. I don't
yeah.
know if the ceilings have moved at all, but I think the floor has come up a bit.
Okay.
It's a bit of a safer pick now in my mind. But okay, well, yeah. Hopefully that helps. Some things to consider if you are going to make a move and try and adjust your configuration. This is hopefully we give you some fodder to think about, and explore.
Pixel Prognostications.
Okay, so let's do some pixel prognostications. There's a couple good games coming out in the next little while. Obviously, we're entering into that crazy period where everything's going to be coming out.
Yes.
Our November pixel prognostication is not going to be very good, Mark. It's going to be two games.
I know. I know.
It's going to be
Well,
two
we'll
games.
see. Maybe all of
Yeah,
these holds will end up getting games
yeah,
for
that's true.
November. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they'll just land there. Yeah. Resonance, A Plague Tale Legacy. Um, I am going to just start us off in the low 80s with this game. I'm going to say 83.
Okay. 81.
Okay, you're going under. Interesting.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, another Star Wars game. Star Wars Zero Company, also a Star Wars game getting a lot of praise, but one that maybe we still don't know that much about. Do you want to start us off with Star Wars Zero Company?
I'm gonna go. This has also been previewed recently,
Yeah,
and
and
I
pretty
think
well.
pretty well. I'm gonna go 84, John.
Oh, I'm going to go higher than that.
Okay.
I'm going to say 87.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I just think that mix of tactics and Star Wars has, if they can stick the landing, I think it has that right mix. Yeah. This one, next one, I don't know what to do. Orbitals. Orbitals coming out early September. It has been consistently showing really well, but for all the reasons you mentioned earlier, like it hopefully performs as it needs to, etc. Um, I actually don't know where to place this. People are very high on the aesthetic. I'm going to go with 84 on this one. So I'm going to take your number from the last one and say
Mm.
84.
Well, you're one over what I was gonna say. I was gonna say 83. So let's go 83.
Okay.
Yeah. So right around that
I actually think I
same
went
range.
too low.
Okay. Yeah,
I
I
think
know
it's
people
actually
are
now,
very
yeah,
keen on it. I
they're
don't
very
see
high
it.
on it.
Maybe I'm introducing a little bit of my own personal bias from what I've seen. I'm like, okay, but everybody seems to be pretty high on it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, people are pretty high on this one.
Yeah, and have been for a
Okay, why
while.
don't you? Yeah, why don't? And they really don't know what the game is. Like
I
that's the
know.
other thing, right? It's like
I
I
know.
still don't know what it is, but um, okay. Why don't you start with this one? Blood of the Dawnwalker. This is a hard
Yeah.
one.
So I have this unfortunately counterpicked in one of my leagues. Our
Mm,
good friend Ron has it. I've counterpicked it from him. So he's very
mm.
happy that that I have it counterpicked because it's been previewing quite well. Uh I think geez, I feel like I'm just gonna say the same roughly the same scores for everything. Like this feels like another 83, 84. I'll say 83.
It feels like we've had a lot of low 80 games this year. Like
Yeah.
everything feels like it's averaging out compared to other years where it's felt like there's been much more variability. This year it feels like everything's in that range. Um, I think that's reasonable given that it's kind of like a new option. Oh God, the range on this game is huge. Like I could see this being like a 79, but I don't think my instinct is saying go higher than you, like go to like an
Right.
85, based on how people have reacted to this thing. It's like a big open world RPG, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 85.
Former Witcher devs. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it is former Witcher devs. That just confirmed. Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
85. Let's go higher. Okay, I guess I'm first on this one. Animusha, Way of the Sword. This previews have not been as high. I think
Oh,
it's been
really? I hadn't
good,
heard that actually. Okay.
only from one
Interesting.
group where
Okay.
I think the difficulty curve, like it doesn't capture you. It takes some time to get into it, and then once you're into it, sounds like it you fall in love with it kind of thing, but
Okay.
it takes some time. That I think that could hold it back slightly. I'm going to say, and I have this in one of my leagues. I'm going to say 82.
Okay. Um I'm going to take the 85. This is still Capcom.
Nice.
Capcom
Yep, and
is
they've been killing it.
they have been killing
Yep.
it. So 85 for
Hmm.
Onimusha.
All right.
Wolverine.
You want to go?
Um yeah, Marvel's Wolverine. So what I've heard from this game is that it's very good, but it's not necessarily doing anything new. Like it's like if you know you're not if you like superhero action games, you're going to like Wolverine. If you're looking for the next iteration of these types of games, that's not what this is. And I wonder how much because like basically this is a Sony first party game. Those tend to score like 87, 88. Like book it like every time
Mhm.
um, minimum. Um, I think that this is going to be a little lower because of that. And I could be introducing a little bit of my personal bias because as I've seen and heard more about this game, I'm less excited about it. And
Mhm.
um, I think that speaks a little bit just to where my gaming tastes are these days. But it will still review well. So I'm going to say 85, but I don't think it's going to
Yeah.
quite go to the 80, 88 range
Yeah.
that like the Spider-Mans and the other.
Yeah. I've actually been a bit surprised by some of the feedback. Like I don't know. Like doing something more linear and straightforward feels like innovation at this point.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, but I think everything you've described is accurate. I think they're probably holding some stuff back, like giving that'll give like the pop that reviewers want, like the story beats. I think it's going to be a little bit heavier. That might help carry it along. I hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to say 87,
Okay.
and hope that it kind of lands in that traditional territory. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Hmm. All right, I'll just set a high line at
Yeah.
90.
Okay. I'll take the under.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's high for me even, but
I had 88 in my head, so
yeah,
we'll say 88.
yeah, I had 89 in my head, but
Yeah.
I wanted to make it tougher for you if you're going to go over. All right, and then the final game on our list here, Trails in the Sky second chapter.
Well, I think this is
Gonna be
this is
same.
the 90.
Yeah.
Like I don't know
Yes, it's
Trails
90.
games from anything, right?
Yeah.
Like we have some friends that are just obsessed with them. At the aforementioned Ron
Yeah.
loves these games. But the first one I think was a 91. I don't. So I'm gonna go 90 for this one.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna go 89.
Okay.
There's a part of me that wants to say like 70 just to really piss Ron off, but I'm not going to do that because I'd just be hurting myself after
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
No, 89. Okay, that is Pixel Prognostications, and that is going to do it for us, and that is going to wrap episode 24 of Hype Factor. Marcus, thank you for that. That was a great discussion. And if people want to yell at you about what you've just told them to do, where can they connect with you?
Yeah, so feel free to yell at me on Blue Sky at Marcus O'Neill 79. You can also find me on the other two podcasts that I do, Tiny Game Chronicles that I do every other week with my good friend Michael, where we discuss a tiny, short, usually indie game and do a deep dive discussion on that. And then the other podcast that I do is Brothers from Another Mothership that we do with the aforementioned Ron and the two Matts, Cool Matt, or no, not Cool Matt. I was there's so many Matts, Real Matt and Fake Matt, or Lame Matt and Real Matt. I think we've decided. Yeah. So
I still don't know who's who, but I generally know who you're talking about based on the conversation.
Yeah. So, anyways, the last episode that we did, we had a really fun discussion where we debated the Mount Rushmore different topics of gaming. So we decided on kind of like the top 4 of various gaming related things, and that was a fun one to do. We're probably going to be recording in another week or so. So been a bit of a hiatus due to summer vacations and such.
Yeah.
Mostly Real Matt's fault for those. So anyways, if that sounds interesting, we would love for you to check it out.
Yeah, I can't encourage people enough to listen to those two shows, to hear more from Marcus and a whole other cast of just awesome people. But yeah, no, truthfully, don't yell at us. Honestly, like take it easy. Like don't go out there yelling at us or other reporters or anything like journalists.
Definitely not the reporters. You can yell at me for my opinions. I don't mind.
Yeah, yell
but
at us, our takes, whatever.
Yeah,
but yeah. And as for me, you can find me on Blue Sky at John32. Also in the Discords. For Hype Factor, you can connect with us there. We're also on Blue Sky Next YouTube channel as well. So like the episodes are loaded there. You can leave us comments, questions, whatever, and we'll always work to incorporate those into our episodes. If you liked what you heard, as always, please consider giving us a positive 5-star review on your podcast player of choice. It's always much appreciated. That's going to do it for us. Until next time, everybody, get hyped.
Remember, the information provided is for entertainment purposes only. Hype Factor does not guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any advice or predictions offered. By listening to this podcast, you acknowledge that you are solely responsible for any decisions you make based on the information provided. We strongly encourage you to fantasy critic responsibly, and remember, this is just a game, and in no way impacts your status as a gamer. Hype Factor cannot be held responsible for any damages resulting from bad picks, drops, or overall Fs on your season.